Hello everybody, this is the part 4 of the carpet bagger filling and decorating series that I'm doing, and today I'm going to show you the envelopes that I make from tracing paper to fit in the journals, which I think they always look quite nice. So I use tracing paper, but it's 90 GSM. What that is in pounds, I don't know, but it's slightly thicker than normal tracing paper. Normal tracing paper is 60 GSM. So it's actually really quite good quality. It's virgin on vellum. I can print on this. I can do anything I want with this, really. The same as vellum. And so I tea stain them, and then I make these envelopes, which all I do to get the embossing. You know, there's ways out there. I think Tracy Fox does one with embossing envelopes, I think. I use one of these that I've had in my stash for a long time. You know, most probably a freebie on a magazine. So where they come from, you know, where you could obtain them from, I wouldn't have a clue now. But so I just run that along. I just put it over, like so, run it through the machine, and that's it, really. And then I stitch round the top and the bottom. And then I always, because I do this on the envelope punch, I always fold that over because I quite like that straight edge there. So, and then I'll glue them down. And what I will do in a journal is, I'll show you in a minute, I sometimes put ribbon round to start with. I'm going to put it here, so hopefully I've got it the right way around. Yeah, yeah, that's it. So I like it to open that way. So I will glue that in, that side, and that side. Leave that open, but I would come down a bit, because then I would make an insert to go in here with, say, some lace coming out of the top, which I tend to do that quite a lot in my journals. So, and then insert a journaling card in there, which you could see that through as well. So that's what I do there, which I will do that in a moment. Right, so what I actually found was one of these little tags from something. Again, no idea where I got it from, and all I've done is cut off the end, so it looks similar to the other end. And I will ink the edges up and place it in there. I don't think I'll use ribbon on this one. Sometimes I'll put seam binding through and then tuck it and tie it up that way, but I think that'll make a nice little tuck for that to go in, as long as we just glue right at the bottom, which we will do. I'll stick the envelope in as well. Actually, I'll ink this up first, because I get going and I actually forget what I'm doing and forget to ink up. So, don't need much on these because they're already Miss Craft card, isn't it? So, all right, let's stick the envelope in. Oh, we've got another one there. Like I say, I put glue on each side. Oh, it's going to pump out today. We don't need that today, do we? Oh, what's wrong with this glue lately? It's usually quite good, but I think it's quite hot in here. It seems to, when it gets hot, it sort of blows up a bit. All right, let's take some of that off. Okay. Far too much glue, but it'll be okay. I was going to come down a bit, wasn't I? Might even come down a bit more. That's it. I haven't stuck down the envelope yet, don't worry about that. I tend to do things like that last minute. Some people quite like them open and then journal on them, but I don't do that, so. Right, I think that's, put that down, make sure that's nice and stuck down there. That's Right, now we've got to be careful because we do not want too much glue. I might use the Fab-O-Tac on that because I can get a finer bead of glue around the bottom. Right, which way do we want that? That way. Tiny bit up, a bit more, I think. And I suggest you don't tuck that in until it's dry. What I'm going to do now is put a little bit of glue along here. Not quite to the top there, just a little bit down, or else it sticks the envelope together. Hopefully we don't see the glue and we're going to be okay. Brilliant. Yeah. Oh, and that's come off now, look. Let's put that back down. Right, what I'm going to do is get rid of some of this glue, and I'm going to just squash it down a bit and hold it just for a few seconds, just to, there we go. And I'm not going to tuck that in yet because I'll get stuck in there. So that's why you don't use double-sided sticky tape on anything like that, because you'll always be sticking it'll always be sticking to that. The glue will dry off and it'll be okay. So that's that envelope in there, and then it'll look nice with something inside poking out of here, which I think we'll do next. Right then, so what I found is I found a journaling card that fits. So that fits in there quite nicely. Same sort of theme, birds and botanical, anything like that, nature. And I've got one of these. Some of these come in with my kits, or most kits actually have a little page where you can print them out and cut them out to use as page tabs. So I'm going to use that, but I actually want to cover it. So I'm going to sort of stick it on really, and then cut it after, just so that I've got a bit of that going on. Actually, I'm going to try and find this one here, which would be quite nice if I can. Oh, I've got it. Yeah, so it's the same sort of colour. Yeah, have to be a bit narrower, but we can use that. Oops, I don't know what that is. So there we go. Let's make it a bit narrower, I think. I'm worried about the straight edge for a minute. That'll fray soon enough. Let's have a look. Yep, that's nice. And then that'll go on the same and in keeping with the rest of the journal there. Right, so I'm going to put a bit of glue on here. It's getting late now actually. It's getting a bit dark. I'm getting a bit tired too, so right, that's that. The light's going to go soon. I think I'll stick that there and then cut the rest off. I don't need to press it down too hard, and don't use much glue on this sort of thing. That's it. And then I'll trim off. This is sari silk. Well, sort of, it's very fine for sari silk, but they sell bags of it in the village, so they're quite nice, and they have them in sort of bag theme, you know, colour themes, and I mean it's quite sweet really. They're not very cheap, though. They're about £5 a bag, and you don't get that much in there, but they go a long way, so that's the main thing. And that's all I do to change. Sometimes if you haven't got the right colour but you've got one handy, that's what I'll do to make sure it blends in with everything else. Yeah. Alright, let's stick that down. Ooh. Sounds like next door's knocking. We live next door to a holiday house, and there's like, it sleeps 10. Oh, it's so noisy. And our house actually is joined at one point, well, 100 years ago, with next door. It was actually the same house. So there's no soundproofing, and it's just so loud. You can hear them going up and down the stairs, especially if they've got kids, where I don't mind, because I've got 2 kids, but mine are grown up now, and they do tend to whinge a bit in the morning, saying, "Oh, they're waking me up." And I'm thinking, yeah, I wonder how many people you woke up when you were that age. Quite a few, running up and down the stairs. We've got 4 flights of stairs in our house. Oh dear. Yeah, so they sleep 10. I think there's 5 bedrooms. It's quite a big place, so I think we got the smaller, well, we did get the smaller side, but they extended theirs. They had a courtyard, and also it's the same building as what I'm in here, which was an old bank years ago, but they covered theirs in and incorporated their studio, like my one here, into like a kitchen. So they sort of haven't got that facility. Right, so that's that done. I think that can be put in there. We just need a journaling card inside the envelope. That won't fit in there now because of the tab, but we can find another one for that. So I won't stick that in yet because it's still wet. And that goes under there. Then perhaps a little bit of something, same material, on here. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Oh, it's a little bit, look. It's quite nice. But then I quite like the birds and things. Let's have a look. That could be okay, actually. Just a little bit shorter. I sounded very Cornish then. Shorter. Yeah, we've got Feast Week coming up next week, so I won't be able to do much at all next week because we've got things going on nearly every day. Sunday's fantastic because they have like a fish festival, even though I don't eat fish. Silly, isn't it, when you live in a fishing village? And they grill it, and there's all in the streets everywhere. All these little food places cooking food, and well, all fish. I have to eat before I go out. And they have a homemade gin and tonic, which is absolutely wonderful. A gin and lemon, and they actually like spend all the night before squeezing hundreds of lemons. It's rather nice. I do treat myself to one of those. Right, I think that's it. I'm still a bit damp, so I'm not going to put that in yet. Oh no, it's okay. And that'll sit in there like so. And I quite like if it actually comes towards, the outside of the page. I like that, so you can see it. Right, so onward. Let's have a look, see what we've done. All right, yes, I found something green to go opposite that page. And I think that this is quite heavy. So I thought we need to do something on this page. That's why I've put another one here, because to balance off the weight, or else it's gonna go a bit funny when you turn it. So we shall think of something to do here. Yeah, that's all done there. What else did we do? That I've stuck in because I thought that's quite a nice colour with everything going on. It's nothing's been done. It's all wonky. It's not even cut straight yet, but I found that the other day. Well, yesterday. What else did I do? I found one of those, which is, I thought would do something going on here. So that's to come. I'm leaving that alone because I don't know what I'm going to do there yet. And, oh yeah, I've got these jelly bean pockets. And this is actually a Bolton pad. And do you know, it really irritates me because it's out of focus. So I need to cover up quite a lot of that. I wish I only had some more of this paper because I think 3 would have looked nice along here. And all then the tags poking out that way, which would have been perfect. But I can't find any more of this paper. If I do, I will do that. I will cut 3 of those. Or I've got to change the colour paper and then cut 3 out of them. But I actually really like that paper. So I've done that. What else did I do? Oh yeah, I haven't done. I just found some bits to go that coordinates with that envelope. But I haven't finished that yet. And on here as well. That's right. We've done this, and then I've stuck these little bits here because I thought I would show you how I do a little pocket, and then stick it in because I want this one near the top. I found these little tags and I thought, I need to put those somewhere, and I thought they could go near the top, and then that would be stuck here. So I made this little thing up, and I thought, well, I'd show you how to make that. So I've got all the bits and pieces to do it from here. So that was that, and I thought, well, they would look quite nice sticking out the top there, and that would give a bit of bulk to the top. Because we've got a lot going on down here, so we need to start filling up here, and then perhaps, I know normally journal in there, but what I'll put, I have to put something there. I might even put something underneath hanging down, so I don't have to journal there, and it covers it up. So yeah, I think I will do that. Right, then I'll show you how to make the little tuck spot that I've done, which was this one here, and I said that I wanted something to come down the page a bit, so what I chose was something like that. We'll keep with the earthy tones, and all it is a bit of jute, and I frayed the edge, but you have to be careful because it's too an open weave to sew it really. So I suggest you just put a bit of glue on the back. PVA will be fine, and that should help that stay put. And then it will be stuck down as well, but I just put a bit of glue on now while we make the other little bit up, just so that can soak in and do its job really. And that should help that from fraying all the way up. I think that'll look quite nice. Right, so leave that alone. Right, and all the bits that excuse me, all the bits that come off that, which is here, you know, again, I wouldn't throw them away because they're quite useful, even for making little knots for an embellishment. So you could just trim them off if you wanted them a bit neater. You know, you've got yourself a sort of knotty bow, which can look quite nice. There's that. Then there's, I'm not sure how you do it, but you can sort of make little nests or little circular things where I'll have a go in a minute. It's gluing these down like this and letting them fray out a bit. And that, I'm not saying on this piece, but you never know, if you wanted to do something as a little base and then put a little gem in or something like that, then you can always cut these and then they will fray out. You know, there's all different things that you can do with them, so you know, save them. So I would knot quite a few up, you know, all at once really. I'd say about 3, 4 maybe, if you want to find, depending how thick you want the knot, but that's a fine one. It's 3 on this one. And then just trim off. And you've got yourself a little embellishment. Doesn't have to be a bow. And I think those would work quite nice. Right, so, and all you've got then is these little bits left. Ideal. Right, so on with this. So the first bit is just because I measured the, hold on a minute, I would measure across that way and make a pocket, or a tuck spot to fit in here. Okay, and I've just doubled a piece of paper over to give it a bit of substance. That's all I do. There. So ink up the edges. Glue it down. And then start building up. That's that. Then I'll put this on first. This one comes down quite a bit, so which was nice, but this is all the odd bits that I'm using up, so I will stick that on the back there. Glue that on the back, I should say. I say no two come out the same, because this is just literally utilising all the bits that you get left, so you might not even see that, might be too small, so I'll try and find a bigger bit, I think, which I know I've got. There we go. Went into my little pile over there. I'll just add a bit more to that. Well, you're not really going to see it with everything else on it. Actually, I'll just trim that down now because I know I'm not going to need all that. I mean, it depends if you like things neat. I mean, this will work. The same sort of thing would work with nice, neat lace coming down, you know. I'm just going to trim a little bit off there just to do that. Okay, right. Hurry up and dry. I'm going to put this on next. If I do it up in the air, it doesn't matter. A matter of building things up, really. Some work, some you think, oh, I don't know, looks a bit silly. Like that. I don't need to ink this one because there's plenty on there. Plenty of tea stain on this bit, so it looks very aged. What have I got here? A little sweet mood. So that will go just in there. That's not very straight, is it? Let's have a look. Looks like we're going to have a wonky day today. Let's get the words a little bit straighter than that. Actually, I want to come down a bit. There we go. What I will do, I think, is put a bit of string on first, and then because I want that above it, like that one there. Hope you can see there. Should have that in the middle. Yep. It's quite good because if you actually can see any of your glue, a little bit of string covers it up. See? Stick the back. But if you find it hard placing things, I mean, you can use tweezers. You know, a lot of people, because that gives you a bit of, you know, mobility, and because sometimes it's quite fiddly getting in to do little things like this, whereas tweezers are really good for that. I have got some somewhere, but no idea where they are. And then I'll trim that off. mean, this is just a really, really simple one, you know, like that. And then I would stick that to the back of there, but I'm going to use the other ones because I've got the other one because I quite like this, the pleasant thought there. And then we'll stick that in there. So that's what you would do, but that can go on drying for another place in the book. And I'm going to use this one. That jute actually lifts it off the page a bit, so it's easier to tuck things in. Hopefully not too much, or else the pocket becomes too wide and then things fall out. But then we can always solve that problem by pinning them in. You know, I do that. Right, I only want a bit of glue down the bottom and the two sides. I should be here actually. I don't know whether you can see me there. Come down too far. There we go. Look, a tiny bit lower. Should have done that first, you see. Right, to stop that sticking, we need a piece of acetate on there, and then we need to come down a bit, don't we? So I want them to stick out about here, so it's going to be about there. Do here, just in case that gets stuck, is I'll put, actually that's a bit too thick, need some, I know, I'll just cut a bit of acetate down where it's gone. You can never see it, can you? Okay, just stick that in the pocket. Okay. I mean, if it happens, it gets stuck down and there's no pocket there, then fine, you know, you've still got a bit of an embellishment in the middle of the page. So there's nothing wrong with that. Let's come up a bit. That's it. And then you've got that going on here. Okay, while that was drying, I just sewed around the tags because I found that they're quite dark. So putting the white stitching or cream stitching around, it helps to just brighten them up a bit. So I've done that, plus I took these off because they were very, they've gone a bit hard. So I've just put some, I put some sparkly trim on, which is better, I think. Bit of fluff. Got a bit of fluff coming down here. Oh, and this, you just pull this out. It's fine. That. There we go. I hope they stay in. I think we'll skip a few pages and go on to the envelope because I've sort of prepared it a little bit, not much, but I just found bits and pieces to go with the colour scheme out of my stash. So we need to decorate the envelope a bit more, and then that'll be there. Yep, that's perfect. And then that'll be over that side, I think. Yep. And then again, we've got things going on nearer the top. Right, so after you've worked that bit out, you can get on with layering it up, which I'll have a bit of that. could even put some eyelash trim on this if you wanted to. Bit of that. And I quite like this, how I had it before, which I literally just folded it all up and then I sewed it. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I cut bits. That's what I done. And then I stitched over it. If you haven't got a sewing machine, you'll just have to glue it. But those two pieces would be fine glued, which I'm going to do a little bit of glue to keep them in place. But not much because I'm sewing it. And I'll lay it nice and flat. I use a different sewing needle. You know, I've got one for my craft work, which I don't do a lot of normal sewing anyway, so I haven't got to worry. But if you've got a super duper machine and it's one of your precious things, then, you know, use a different needle. I'll just put a tiny bit of glue to keep that in place while I sew it. Oh, tiny bit, what would you say? I'll just rub a bit off. Just make sure it's dry, again, you know. And then I'm just going to just put that down a little bit, that's all. And leave that to dry. I don't think the envelope needs much more, actually. Perhaps some, no, because no, it doesn't. I think there's plenty going on there, to be honest. Unless we wanted to put a little bit. No, it doesn't need it. Really doesn't need it. Less is more on that occasion, I think. That'll just be poking over on that side, which will be lovely. So we'll leave that to dry and then I'll go and sew it and then I'll come back to you. Okay then, all sewn up. So now I'll trim the ends off and trim any loops. There's one here, I think, that needs trimming up, which I'll show you. Let's get my little scissors for that one. Whoops. I'll just trim the ends off of that, but I quite like leaving them. So any loops, I'll just actually cut that off because it's not doing anything. I'll use that in something else. I mean, you can leave the loops if you like them, but I actually like cutting them. Then it makes it look even more frayed. I'm going to leave that. I quite like it. Okay, where was we going to put that? Here, wasn't it? So, and then later on I'll make something to go in here. I'll stuck the envelope down now, but we'll make something later on to go in there. So that was going to go. That's it, and that sticks out. Yep, and looks through there. That's nice. And then you've got that there, which again, come a tuck spot. That's it. And then what I will do here is usually I'll put one of these because I know I have to change them. This is why I use these. When I see one of these, it triggers my brain to say, right, I need to change that to a rusty one when I do them, or I need to do something in that area. So you'll find them dotted around. Because when something comes to me, I use one of those. But I will put that down here because just in case I don't see it. There you go. So I know I have to change that at a later date because I'm going to use rusted ones in this journal. That's fine. And it also will tell me that I need to put something in there. So that's that done. I've noticed I've got a habit of when I've finished one little thing, I go, that's it then. So you have to excuse that. I think I've done it a few times now. God knows how many. I won't count it. Right. Okay. Onto this page where I said I didn't have any more paper. I found a piece. So I managed to cut out 3 of the same paper. How about that? So I've got 3 out of the same paper, which is, and I actually found that. It's basic grey, but how old it is, most probably won't be able to get it. I don't know, but I love it. I think it's sort of vintage, but slightly trendy as well. It's really lovely. But I also found that because I didn't have 3 of the same, I found this piece. So I thought that might have worked, you know, with the plain one in the middle and then that one like that. But I mean, if you haven't got this jelly bean thing, you know, have a look on the internet. There's printable pockets and things like that. And if you sort of, you measure, you know, I've got some. I actually got some freebies, and not this size though. They're slightly bigger, but you could print 2 to a page. So that meant that would make them smaller, and you would get 3 in. You know, they're not going to fit the Tim Holt tags, because I didn't even know these actually fit. This is the Tim Holtz. I don't know which one. Hold on. So I think he has a couple. It's, that one there. Tags #5. So that was that one. And I noticed it actually fits in the pocket a little bit on the long side, but I would just trim off the bottom. But it actually fits in there. I mean, you might like that. So if we put them further back, we could most probably, I quite like it hanging over the page a little bit though. So we could put them further back a little bit. Let's have that. Yeah, no, I think that'll work. And then they'll be sticking out the side. These got to be decorated at a later date, of course, but they do fit. So because I want it all the same, I'm going to, those be for another project or for another page later on, but I'm going to use these ones like so. So I'll stick those in. I mean, you could most probably have a tuck spot underneath each one, but I'm not going to do that because I think they're bulky enough. Once you've got the card in, it's enough, you know, or else your page would be like that. So I'll get and stick those down. I've inked them all up, and either to stain the inside of those, or I've used ink, but nearly glued the wrong side then. That would be a good start, wouldn't it? Or what it is about this glue, my other one, it wouldn't come out the end, so of course I got used to really squeezing it hard. Now this one, tight it, slightest touch, and it squirts everywhere, so that's an excessive amount. Never mind, just check with that tag where it comes out as, so I might need to move it back a bit. So I should have kept that in there really. Come on, it's still wet, that's why. Right, okay, we need the bone folder in there. That's it. And we'll do it in this one as well. We've still got time, so that, there we go. Yeah, so I need it a little bit more. So look where that goes on there. I always flip the other page over to see how that lies there. Okay, yeah, I think I still would trim a bit off those actually, I really do. I do find them a little bit too long for him, but it's okay. Yeah, once we've got one, we can follow that one. Okay, what I do, I stick down here first, and then I'll centre the centre one. It's easier that way, or else sometimes you're left with too much of a gap down here, because you've not judged it right, so always do the bottom one next. You can see it better. That's right up to the page. So that's it. Just get that squashed down. If you didn't have 3 the same, put the odd one in the middle. Well, that's what I would do. Again, it's only the way I work. You know, other people are totally different, which, again, thank God, because, you know, must it be pretty boring out there as it happens. There's so many talented people, and it's just amazing. And it's such a lovely community. Far better than any. I mean, I was mixed up in card making communities before and things like that. And, you know, I did find it got a little bit too sort of, I don't know, people seem to, I don't know, ran other people down and other people that have got different groups. And I thought, why? We all do the same thing, you know, and let's all be friends. We can all help each other. Okay. Yeah. Again, I would put a little bit of decoration maybe on that page. I'm not sure, but let's see what the tags are like first. So they fit in nice, but can't fit that one in. Yeah, I think they definitely need a little bit off the bottom of them. Definitely. Yeah. Oh, I'll see if I can live with it. I'll leave it like that for a moment. Not sure. Okay, well, I'm going to live with it for a moment, but they're not decorated, so they might look different once they're decorated. And I can always cut a bit off the bottom. That looks okay that way, but I'm not sure with that there. Unless we add a little bit of lace on the edge of that page, then it might work. Or even slightly fold that in, and then, yeah, I could do that actually. I'm going to do that now while I remember, because I think that will work. I just need to see more of that. It'd be better if I do it straight, won't it? Go up to a line. Hold on a minute. It's because I can't bend my head forward because you'll only see my head. So, right, let's get that up to there, and then down. Yes. Now, see, I'm happier with that, and that will come over that bit. That's fine. Yeah. Yeah, like that. I came up with an idea that when we folded this page over here, I thought what I would do is make a pocket, a tuck spot here. And I would leave a little bit of this card in between because I think that looks nice. Not butt the card straight up to there, because I think then you've got two patterns next to each other. But like that, you give the eye a bit of a rest, a break between the two patterns, and it seems to look better. So I will again fold that piece over. Well, actually, I'll score that, because I want it a bit stronger on the edge. Tuck pockets, all I do is just a little bit. This one, that's it. There we go. That's one of my work colleagues, because I still own a salon, you see, and it's literally downstairs, and they're out in the garden today. So hopefully you can't hear too much of them chatting away. Just gives again. I didn't want to lose too much of that because that's the only piece I had, so I just wanted to give that a little bit of a more strength on that edge there. And then I'll cut it to size. I'll cut it to length. There. Let's give that pencil mark. I mean, it'd be quite nice if you put decorative edge on it or something like that as well. You know, you can do that, but I'm not going to here. I quite like it like that today. I usually change my mind as I go along. Oh, it's funny when you do that. All right, so I'm going to the glue on this one. Just like that. I'll just spread that out up to that line, because that's about where I want it. To cover those blue numbers. Looks if it's straight. Yeah. Okay, so once that's done, you can stick down the side. Okay. Now we have a tuck spot in here. See, I'm thinking we need a bit of colour. I actually quite like the look of that, to be honest. Because I'm using, well, I use the other colour though. It's quite pinky, this bit. Let's try that end. That would be better. Because that's more in keeping with what we're using. So I would go cut this bit straighter, of course. But yes, well, instead of going right the way down the page just straight, I thought I would just made a bit of a tuck on the sewing machine, and then I'll just dull the thread a little bit just to take the starkness white off it. But normally, as you use the journal, that sort of does it naturally, really. Because don't do that if you sewed light fabric, but because this is dark fabric, it doesn't really notice. And I think that there would be nice. Clean that off a minute. And again, if you see any of your glue through, because this is very, very fine fabric, I would use something else on top, you know, like a bit of what we've used earlier. Just show you something, because this was the paper pad, and this design is lovely, and it's quite thick, so I don't throw it away either. I actually cut it all out, and you can make some butterflies, you can use circle punches for different things, you know, because that would work. You know, a little butterfly there would be fine. So, and I actually quite like this here, so I'm going to use that somewhere. I'm going to cut that out and use it. That's stitching, because I've got 3 bits here that could be used, which could look quite nice. And all the rest I can punch some butterflies, so I've already cut it ready. So again, that you know, brings in the colour from somewhere else, but they're lovely. I really like those. And then that would blend in quite nicely, actually. Yeah, oh, I like that.